All right. And the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of IndieVolt Media LLC and do not reflect the official policy or position of any guest or sponsors. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is I. It is Varian Grant. It is Tuesday night. It is 9 o'clock. Therefore, it must be Indie Volt. I, once again, Varian Grant, been making comics since 2008. It was a long, long time ago. Long time ago. Gosh, was there even like a? I don't think what we didn't have. We didn't have all these fancy lights and computers and stuff. Well, yeah, you should feel low. You should feel low. You are very old, and actually, Lola is very old because Lola, I found out today while looking at some old screenshots of Ninja Turtles games. Splinter is listed as being 30.
Oh wow,
30 years old, Splinter. So, oh, that's walking around, my sons. He is 30. That's how they think of us. They think of us as I picture Splinter in his 60s, but apparently he's 30. And Lola has reached the ripe old age of 30. Therefore, she is now, yeah, she's an old maid. And, yeah.
She's still not so old that she can't get up out of that chair and slap the back of your head.
Yeah. She's quite violent, so. I'm calling HR about violence around this office. So, we've been coming 2008. I am the founder of IndieVolt Media LLC. Used to be the EIC of the IndieVolt.com, but that is no longer. I am now I'm just the overwatcher of that site. Lola's taking over that position as the EIC. And co-publisher, co-owner of Last Call Comics. I am joined, as always, by beautiful indie princess Lola. And of course, Mr. Zim. Greetings, sir.
Hey, everybody. How are you tonight? Everybody in IndieVolt Radio land. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing alternative and independent comics in the direct market for a long, long time. I was working in the independent market before, right as the direct market was coming in. I am a award-winning commercial and graphic artist whose specialty is sequential art for advertising and education because it pays better. And other than that, I do the Zim Geek channel here on YouTube, ZIMMGEEK, where I teach cartooning, which I used to do after school quite a bit and loved it, and talk about the comic biz as well as being here on IndieVolt.
And Randy, I got a chance to see something. I got a chance to see something on Hulu last night that was shocking to me.
Oh,
it was shocking. Yeah,
shocking.
Shocking. It was you.
What was I doing on Hulu?
It's your Treehouse Masters episode.
Oh, really? You found it on Hulu?
Yeah.
That's nature's superheroes. Yeah, you get to see me for 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm like,
probably less than that. It was probably 2. My profile and
there's a damn Zim. There he is.
There he goes.
Yeah, we got 2 guests tonight. We got more than 2 guests, but we got 2 guests here right now. Jonathan Hedrick and Randall Bishop. Guys, Jonathan, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then we'll move over to Randall. Right. I'm going to mute my mic because I don't know if you guys can hear. There's a rainstorm behind me, and oh wow, it's pouring. So I'm going to mute my mic, but you guys go ahead.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Hedrick. I'm an independent comic book writer. I've been on the scene for just a little over a year. I have a few books out already called Freak Show Princess. Won a few awards recently. Capable, which is my superhero story. I have a book coming out in November from Scout Comics called The Recount. And today I launched a new Kickstarter for my follow-up to Freak Show Princess called Freak Show Night.
Cool.
I remember seeing the Kickstarter campaign or the Indiegogo campaign for Freak Show Princess. And
it was on Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, and you had a lot of live action cuts in there, which I thought was really cool.
Yes, but the person that made that video for me is actually a good friend of mine that owns a comic book store in the town I live in, and he was just so psyched about that book, and I did a store exclusive with him. He loves zombies, so he made that for me, and prior to even doing the Kickstarter. I
Yeah.
thought that was awesome. He took like B-reel footage from other, public domain stuff and mashed that together. It was sick.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And Randall, is it Randall?
Yeah, I go by Randall professionally. My name is Randy and Lynn, and there's another professional artist out there named Randy Bishop. So I got the short end of the stick. So I just spell my name Randall and go with that. But yeah, I respond to either Randy or Randall for this. I think since there's another Randy in the room, it made more sense to just call me Randall.
Whenever Randy's in trouble, Randy Zim is in trouble, I refer to him as Randall or Randolph.
Oh, okay.
I also go by Zim.
Well,
so.
I'll take the heat this time then.
And then he quickly told me, "My name's not Randall." I'm like, really? Hey, you think that it would be something like long and
It's one of those things, like it's just one of those things. I do animation as well as sequential art. I do commercial art. I'm making most of my money to pay my bills with art now.
Mhm.
However, I'm still in the Army Reserves. I've been an Army Reservist been associated with the Army for 25 years now, and I'm still in it. And love my job, love my boss, and it's not too demanding this year, which is the opposite of what you would think with everything that's been going on, But I like it. I like what I do, and I think as long as I continue to have fun, I'm not going to drop my retirement packet just yet, but I probably should at some point. Just so I can focus on my art, man. Like the other Randy Bishop does animation primarily, and he's worked for Pixar. That is not me. So if you see Pixar and Randy Bishop, that is not me.
the idea is to get you guys to work together. That's the idea.
Yeah, like I actually asked him that one time, and he's like, yeah, but it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. So maybe, who knows? I think he did sequential art a long time ago, but I think he's more primarily animation focused, doing more like bigger studio gigs, I think. But for me, like I'm doing 2D animation. I'm learning some 3D art, and I've got some good modeling skills in 3D now, but I'm still not to the point where I can animate in 3D yet. Animating and rendering in 3D is still eluding me, but this summer I attended some courses at Full Sail University and learned how to do the 3D animation stuff. So you'll see that like sneaking into my work and in my comics and my videos as I get a little bit more fluent with that.
Cool, and we'll get into some of that. And as someone who went to military school, I want to thank you for your service.
Cool. Thank you very much for your support.
Now, you guys have seen the show. You know how this goes. Usually, after everyone introduces themselves, I have to go to our question bin. Tonight we got 4.
Oh, I was going to say that's when we pull out the weapons.
No, yeah,
No,
yeah. We have 4 questions.
the insult.
And sometimes there are insults. So let's trying to think which one isn't really spicy,
Vile.
but we'll pull this one up.
Which one isn't vulgar? Which one?
Yeah,
That's a good one to start off with.
Some vulgarity. Here we go, Randy. You can read that one, sir.
Mark S., thanks a lot for writing in. We do appreciate your input, no matter what it says above. Here we go. $10 to $15 for a floppy is too much. $35 to $50 is too much for a 45 to 65 page trade. This is without shipping. Forever and ever. Amen. Mark S. Mark S. is drawing the line in the sand.
Mark, I can agree with you on a mass-produced scale. However, I have bought a $9 book from Marvel, but it was a Deadpool special, and I had to have it. It was a very thick book, though.
Had to have
But, I think they went thinner on the paper to account for the thickness of the book, though. But when you're buying digital indie comics, especially when you're crowdfunding, when you're buying from crowdfunding, you have to. The way I get past it mentally, and this might not work for you, but what works for me is that I think about it like going into a a bakery, mom and pop bakery. Sure, I can go over to 7-Eleven or the gas station and buy a Hostess cupcake for what is it, 89 cents, $1.19, or I can spend $5 on this cupcake that I'm told they spent hours of love and care preparing. So that's how I get over it. Plus, I like supporting these people, the other creators. Me being, I've made comics. I know what it takes. I understand the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. And sometimes that 10, $15 is actually keeping somebody creating, keeping the lights on, keeping their roof over their head. So I don't. I understand that. I understand you feel it's too much without shipping, and I can see how that could be a burden for you. Also, though, keep in mind a lot of these people they just want to be read. So if you can reach out and say, "Hey, I don't have that much, but I got I got like $5. Is there a way I can support you and get the PDF?" A lot of these artists or creators will be happy to send you a PDF for a lot cheaper than a physical copy of the book. 30 to 50 being too much for a 45, 65 page trade. 50, I guess I agree with you with that. 50 is a
Yeah,
bit.
I was going to say, don't ask me to defend a $10 to $15 floppy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's not going to happen. But
yeah.
one thing, Mark, you really have to consider is if you look at these campaigns and you see how many backers are there,
Mhm.
that's how many people are buying into their campaign. And a lot of those books are on such a low, limited run that they have to go through a print on demand printer. And a lot of these print on demand guys don't have a lot of sympathy for somebody coming in and just asking for 50 to 100 copies. So sometimes they're spending almost half of that
Mhm.
on a single copy of a color book, especially to get a decent quality book on decent quality paper. So,
Rick,
and shipping is something else entirely because that has gotten crazy lately.
Richie wants me to say, I am Batman, but
I am Batman.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
I
I am Batman.
I am lots of pizza.
Yeah,
Anyway, yes.
yeah. Or that's my Will Arnett Batman voice. It's just down here in the lower register somewhere. I've been playing with my voice, and
Richie says hello. I know he says
yeah,
hello. I
I,
recognize that.
you guys will be shocked because I've been doing all these voice training things, and I recently started this one voice training module on YouTube, and you should never fall down a YouTube rabbit hole because I started to train to there's a YouTube module on there about feminization of the voice, and I'm like, can I go back? That's maybe I shouldn't take this training because I might not be able to go back. Jonathan and Bishop, Jonathan and Randall, I want to get you guys' opinion on this. But let me go to the chat real quick again. Martin Piero says, when I charge $10 for a floppy, that will also absorb some of the stretch goals costs as well. And that's a good point. I mean, there are points where you have to consider that maybe it's $10 to $15 because it's offsetting another cost or something else. I got a friend who has a $20 book. It's 64 pages, but it's presented like a floppy. But he asked 20 for it. But his book is actually individually numbered, so once he's done with those copies, he's never making more. But go ahead. We'll start with you, Randall. What do you think about this? You want to weigh in on it?
Well, I think, all right, are we talking exclusively about Indiegogo or Kickstarter rewards, or are we talking about you walk into a comic book store and there it is, it's $15 from the get-go?
I would imagine Mark is talking about crowdfunding books because he mentioned shipping.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that $10 for a floppy is reasonable if the value has been established, that the value is actually there. And, it gets dicey because some indie creators will put the minimum number of pages in with the maximum number of ads and sell that for the highest price and call it a day. And then other indie creators will really put in a lot of quality, no ads, and just cut their own throats when they price it. So it's very. I mean, pricing is always tricky. So like, for me to condemn it, nah, I can't. I can't condemn it. Is it outrageous? Yeah, it's totally outrageous. I miss the days when comics were 75 cents on the wire rack, and or less, and they were mass produced. You know that was they got their margins way down.
Well, yeah, in the case of mass produced, you can drop that cost, but print on demand.
You know that's one of the things that Samedi found with Alterna was, you know, with the newsprint thing, and myself as well with my comic book was, you know, 6 years ago I found the two newsprint guys in the tri-state area that were still hanging on and printing newsprint, and I was able to get my comics produced for less than $1, and I was able to sell them for $5. That's one hell of a margin, man. Like that was happy times. My book has evolved since then, and I can't justify printing on newsprint anymore. But I was happy to see when Peter picked it up and ran with it with the Alterna line there for the longest time. I think he's still going with it. I think there was a fallout with Diamond, but I think I'm drifting off of the topic of the price. And, you know, if your contribution margin is tiny, I mean, I think the creator is entitled to charge whatever the hell he wants if it's selling. And, you know, I'd have sticker shock at $10. I mean, I still feel like I got ripped off by buying Wolverine for the Wolverine reboot for $10, or was it $8? I can't remember. It was too damn much.
Now see, Randall, you almost were the first recipient of the Varian Grant Appreciation Award when you said you upgraded from newsprint to regular, and then you had to sully it by saying that you overpaid for Wolverine. Therefore, taking yourself out of contention for the award.
Well, let me caveat and say that the art in Wolverine was freaking phenomenal. Like I've been a fan of Vic Bogdanovic since way back. He was in the CBR forums with me, and we actually did some exercises together. There used to be the artists and writers, I think there still are, and we did a couple things together. And he did nothing but concentrate, focus on his craft. And, you know, like I want to do Spider-Man. I want to do mainstream books. I remember him saying that. And man, he's taken off. I caught up with him in Berlin once, and he was just doing these amazing headshots and giving them away. It's just like giving them away. Like this is the German convention scene is pretty interesting because it's like it's more innocent than our convention scene where we're a little bit more jaded. And we charge like, you know, $40 for you know, quick Neil Adams.
Yeah. Well, that might be a little bit more doing Neil. Jonathan, Jonathan, you want to weigh in on this question too?
Yeah, I can. It all comes down to what the product is, you know, and if the consumer is interested in that product. There could be a 120-page Deadpool comic book on the shelf for $10. But you know, if I don't like Deadpool, then I'm not going to buy it. But then if I see something on Kickstarter that's, you know, speaks to a different, you know, type of interest of mine, or I've never seen it before, it's a cool concept, I might be willing to drop $10, $15, even if it's only 24 pages. So it all comes down to what the product is, and then what else you're going to get from it. The advantage of the crowdfunding campaigns is that there can be more stuff added throughout it. I'm not probably going to get that sticker, that bookmark, you know, all the other tchotchkes with the Marvel or DC book. But if I support this indie guy for $10, $15, who knows what else I'm going to get and what he's going to get out of it too. Maybe this doesn't just help fund this campaign, or it could fund his next campaign or a portion of it as well. So it's like what Varian was saying about, you know, that cupcake from the mom and pop bakery might go further both ways than it would if I just went and bought, you know, some you know, donuts at Dunkin' or whatever. Yeah. So
Brian Silverback says, I know some of you, yeah. And he also says, I see a Loggerhead shirt. Yeah. And Martin Piero says, if my Kickstarter will attract 100 to 125 backers, even at $10 a unit, that will only earn $1,250. I'm already $3,500 in production costs on my upcoming launch. I see you. I see you, Rob. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to you. And I want to thank Indie Volt radio listeners right now. We are coming in at I just lost my numbers. Okay,
Drum roll, please.
yeah, we're coming in at pretty high to start this evening. 65,800. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Want to thank Australia. Want to thank Mexico and Ireland for listening to us tonight on Indie Vote Radio. Thank you guys. It's really appreciated.
We appreciate you all. Thanks for listening.
Rob, go ahead.
So we're in a culture where people pay $10 for a Starbucks, $100 for their Nike shoes. They pay $30 for a T-shirt because it's the one in fashion. Well, when it comes to comic books, oh my God, I can't spend any money to actually read something. But I'll spend $10 on a movie ticket.
I am very frugal with my purchases, sir.
Yeah, I know. Today,
I am very frugal with my purchases. I don't know what you're talking about. I make sure that I take time to.
And Barry's one of those guys who will turn around and be like, "Why is your comic so much?" Look, I'll sell a book for $10. I'll sell a book for $10. I put it magazine size. They're alternative cover. Mark S., you sound like you're a comic book shop owner, more than a fan. And here's the truth: if you're doing it on crowdfunding, you're always going to pay more than if you do it when you go meet him in person. But when you meet him in person, you got to pay for parking, you got to pay for travel, you got to pay for the food that's going to be overpriced, you got to pay for the ticket to get in. So by the time you're done to just get one comic or two comic from a couple people you want to get, you're spending $100 just to get that comic. Spend $10 on Kickstarter. You'll be okay. I promise.
Brian says for mainstream books, it is too much. Randy, I understand that I'm also investing in the creators. That's a good way to look at it, Brian. And that's what I was saying. Kind of like, I understand that, I'm helping Rob keep the lights on. I'm helping him get back to his next book. So I'm forgiving, And
yeah. Mark S., look, you just need to start talking to more creators. They'll explain the costs to you. Like, seriously, when you break down the cost, the average comic book for an independent creator can be from $1,500 to $10,000, depending on how much they're paying per page, how many people they've had involved in it, and how many pages it is. Mind you, he doesn't mention the page count on that. So if he's talking about a 22-page comic book that's black and white, or a 16-page, apparently there's some 16-page comics out there, the 16-page comic for $10, yeah, I could feel ripped off at that. My book's 32 pages. I don't think I've put out a book besides the original Jax one, which was for little kids, that was less than 32 pages. Full color, too. Black and white, yeah, that affects pricing. So it's not so easy to just say that. Plus, your alternate covers. Is it a limited edition? What I printed with Cat Dad and Supermom, we're different. Like, now it's under Terraform, so everything under Terraform is new. So those become collectibles. There's a lot that goes into it. So, Mark, I suggest just coming down a little bit, asking us why the prices are what they are. And if you really want to support a creator, get their PDF and see if you like it. And if you like it, ask them later, hey, I got your PDF. Could you upgrade me to a book? Remember, we're creators. We want to be there with you. We want to take you on our journey. We want to work with you. We're not trying to cash in. We're just trying to survive, just like everyone else. Would you go to work for $2 an hour? I don't think you would. So why do you act like we have to sell our books for $2?
Well, and Varian is right. It's very similar. The example he gave was very right on. You can go to a Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut for $1.25, or you can go to a mom and pop donut shop who use a special formula and cook their stuff with care and have certain secret recipes that charge maybe $2 or higher for that. There's a speaking of cupcakes, there's an awesome cupcake place, award-winning cupcake place around us. They're $5, $6, $7, $8 a cupcake. But when you go up there and see them, not only are they slightly oversized, but that they taste better than any other cupcake that you've ever had in your life. And it's worth the cost.
Yeah.
And a lot of these books, especially the crowdfunding books, are playing to such a small, select audience that it's really a specialty publication. And so, yeah, the overhead is higher, the care is higher. These guys have to pay out to their artists or other creators out of their own pocket most of the time, even before. Hopefully, they have enough before they start crowdfunding, so there's no last minute, problem that creeps up. There's so many other factors in there that raises that cost. So you're going to pay a little extra, a little higher premium for a higher quality, higher cared book.
You want to make
It's not something stuck on an assembly line that just gets churned through the system and tossed out to the printer.
You want to make an indie creator laugh? Ask them how much profit they made on their comic book.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
We're gonna move to the next new question. This one is apparently someone. Oh, okay, here we go. It's our friend L. Nolan.
Our friend L. Nolan. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. Hope you're doing okay.
He's in a rare mood tonight.
Who? What?
He's in a rare mood tonight.
Is he's in a rare mood?
Yeah.
I picked up an indie comic at my local comic shop. Suggestion: some local guy here in Nevada. By far the worst shit I've read since the clinical aspects of pediatric urology. I told the store owner, and he replies, "Hey, the guy's going through a rough patch." So are indie comics a proxy for charity cases now? L. Nolan.
First of all, L, I am going through a rough patch, but I'm not from Nevada. No. I think that Rob is signaling he wants in, but we're gonna make Rob wait for a second. I will say this.
Rob's doing the horse shack. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I know.
I
look. There are some bad comics out there.
No, you're being nice.
You just have to.
Go ahead.
To get to the good ones, you got to kind of. Sometimes you'll pick up a stinker.
Sometimes.
Just like dating.
And you have to throw those away and say, okay, we don't throw them away. No, you just keep them in. And the cool thing is, if you can find that creator like a year and a half later, 2 years, the really cool things when they've evolved is like that first attempt was horrible. That, and it might be 4 or 5 books later that, you pick them up again and you realize, oh, they've learned so much. And that right there, to me, is really cool. But I understand you feeling bad.
I read that wrong. The way looking back over it, he picked up that book at his local comic shop guy's suggestion.
Yeah.
So the local comic shop owner is like going, "Dude, you got to buy this book. This book's good. Buy this book." And he reads it, and it's a piece of trash. And he comes back to the guy and goes, "I was going through a rough patch."
Yeah.
L, you might want to question that guy's taste in accordance to your taste. And take a little closer look at the next book that you buy that the guy recommends, and tell him flat out, well, you told me to pick up Toilet Man, and that Toilet Man thing was a terrible book. Why should I trust you now? Open a dialogue with your local comic shop owner, and get to know him a little better. Maybe his tastes don't reflect your tastes, or
so
maybe,
Randy,
yeah.
Are you saying that the Toilet Man was shitty?
No. But he had to deal with some shit. Obviously, he was going through some rough shit.
Jonathan, what do you think? You think that this is would you be mad at your comic shop owner?
Well, I wouldn't hold it against him because I can't tell you how many books from the big two I've picked up, read through from cover to cover, and forgot instantly what I just read. It made zero impact on my life. L. Nolan here, his final point. His actual question is: So are indie comics a proxy for charity cases now? And the obvious answer is no. So the comic shop owner is defending the reason why he suggested this book that this guy didn't like because the guy is going through some shit or whatever. No, they're not charity cases because no one is gonna slave through 3, 4, 6 months or more of producing a comic book and then launching it on a crowdfunding campaign and hoping that they raise enough money to pay off their medical bills or whatever, because it doesn't work that way. And if you're trying to sell a comic book out of pity or anything like that, buy my comic book because I need new tires on my car, and then that's a whole different case. But the main thing here is the creator didn't get to defend his book or her book. So yeah, this question has no backing, in my opinion.
How about you, Randall?
Well, on the surface, I agree because obviously, no, they're not a proxy for charity cases. I mean, you can ask your local comic book store. You can ask for their advice on what they would read, but they're not really in the business of making recommendations. So, like, if he made the recommendation, he might have been out of line by doing that, by kind of like, hey, I'm going to try. Like, his heart was probably good. Hey, I want to help this struggling creator out and like help sell his book for him. You know, it might have been his nephew or something. You know, you never know. But I mean, I have more questions than answers on this one.
Well,
that's pretty typical with a question that comes in. Go ahead, Randy. Ask your questions.
Well, I mean, if you're an indie creator and you put out a book that you're really proud of, and then years pass and you get better, and that book is still sitting on the shelf, do you still have a responsibility to shepherd that book into either a sale of some kind, meaning you buy it back, or is it an abandoned ship that you should just like pretend doesn't exist anymore? Like an embarrassment, because everybody's got those embarrassing first works out there. So what do you do with them? You know, is the right answer to buy them back or what?
Exactly.
Does that ding mean my time's up?
No, but it can. If you need a timer, Randall, we can put you on a timer. That just means you made a good point.
Hit me with a hammer or something. I don't know.
I want to go through some of these comments real quick. Luke Stone said it depends on the product, really. It's unrealistic to think a small publisher can sell at the same price companies propped up by phone companies, amusement parks can. That was in regards to the $10 to $15 floppy question. Brian also says that about $100 to $200 a page cost for indie guys. Ralph says going forward, indie creators will have to cut corners to try and pass some of that to the buyers. As a customer, your money is going right to that creator. No middleman, distributors and retail shops.
And even then, a lot of times they're not making a lot of profit.
Ralph also says think of you helping those creators out. Yeah. Buy what you like. Seems you got to look at it from your local comic shop.
Yep.
And he also says if your store suggested it, his takes might be different. JD Calderon says creating comics is tough and expensive, so get ready for a ride if you're a new creator. And Ralph says, and do not dog Toilet Man. First comic appearance, fantastic fanzine jam issue.
I'm sorry, Ralph. I just grabbed a name out of thin air. I didn't mean that as a dick.
Johnny Fletcher is not amused.
Johnny Fletcher is not amused.
Yeah. Joined by Mark Guano Guy Darden. Hello, sir.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me come on for a bit.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. We're just wrapping this question up.
And for everybody out there who's the first time contributor here to Indie Vault, we would just like to say, welcome to the party, pal. That's what we'd like to say. Welcome in.
This question, I mean, Elle, you just gotta be nice. I see you, Rob. I know you want to get in there. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Be nice to L. He's a regular contributor.
Actually, I'm on L's side on this one. I think the comic shop did him dirty. I don't think you do that as a business. I think that you never tell your consumer that, oh, well, the guy's going through a hard spot. Like, I worked at CVS. I never went, well, Tylenol had a bad week. That's why it happened to everybody. Tylenol had got beaten out. No. Hell no. I'm sorry. I actually feel bad for you. But, I can be your charity case. If you're looking for a charity case any day of the week, I got a lot to complain about. I can melt your heart. I got so many stories. Trust me, you'll be willing to throw money. But no, El Nolan, I'm sorry. Maybe it's time to find a better comic book shop that actually cares about you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, El, he might not have that
long ago
advantage, but
when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I mean, long ago.
No, you're all right.
When the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out, like that had to be recommended to customers. Like that was just an unknown book sitting back on a shelf.
Wish I'd have known back then. I would have picked up maybe 5 or 6 copies of it. And
yeah, right. And there's plenty of terrible stuff from the big two that you could be recommended and horribly disappointed by.
Yes.
JD
could have been worse. You could have picked up a copy of Skunk Girl.
JD Counter says, as far as old work, it's not great. I have crates of the stuff waiting for Marvel and DC to pick up.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to dog for Marvel and DC. What did they do today? Well, we know what DC did.
Well, we could, you know,
Um,
we can go on a rampage list if we want. But we want to be positive and talk about indie comics.
we got 2 questions left.
We need 2 more people so that Rob will officially be in the Ann B. Davis Square.
All right, here we go.
Or the Paul Lynde Square if we want to start playing, you know, indie comics squares.
Randy, should I put the Randy is back. The other Randy's back.
I don't care.
Randy, right? Or should
We're gonna go through both of them anyway. Varian, just pick one.
okay.
Don't worry about it. You can do it.
Okay, all right.
I have faith in you, my friend.
All right.
Is that a 2-part question? Oh, it says Kip.
Yep.
Listening since the Blue Mike days. What were the Blue Mike days?
When we first started, I had a blue microphone on my face.
Ah, okay, okay. There is an argument to be made, guys. If indies are at the forefront of the industry, isn't it the responsibility of the indie community to help sustain the retail outlets?
I'm gonna drop Rob.
While he screams in the background?
Yeah.
Chances are you fell in love with comics at a spinner rack or in a store, or in a store. Shouldn't we preserve that experience for future generations? Kip, listening since the Blue Mike days.
Rob is. I'm trying to hold himself. I got to hold himself for a little bit longer. I know, Mark. I know you're at work, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll let you weigh in on this one real
Take a
quick.
break.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally found comics at bookstores, and it started me just loving them, and that's really what got me reading as well. Times change, though, so I'm less concerned with how exactly kids find them, but I do hope that kids find them. I think they're a great gateway for getting kids to read, because a lot of kids just don't find books fascinating enough, but comics get them going. So however they get them, but do I want to support comic stores? Yes, I do. I hope that future generations fall in love with them and want to go there too. But if we can do something to help them, yeah, I want to. You know, let's get our books in the stores and help them have product to sell.
Now we go from an angelic answer to the devil. Oh, wait. Lola has a question. Wait a minute.
I do.
Okay.
Hang on.
Should we? Is your mic on? Can you?
It is. No, don't make me big. How can indie creators support the retailers if the retailers ain't carrying us? I've gone to so many stores and there's no indie books. So how can indie creators support them?
I see Rob's gotten you.
That's my question.
You yield the floor to Rob.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rob. You're muted. I didn't do it either.
Kip, it probably happened when you kicked me out. I was screaming. Kip. Look, we want you to write in. We appreciate you being a fan for so long. Obviously, you've been here. You've heard this already, so I'm going to say it really nicely because I've been told I have to be nicer. So here, Kip, here we go. When did we become the people in the forefront? We've been in the toilet section the whole time. You know, in Star Wars, where Han Solo and Luke and Leia wind up in the trash compactor, that's indie comics, basically. When everything else in comics just goes and shits down on us, that's where we are trying to fight our way up. And now that suddenly we stop being the awkward teenage girl and the hot girl, you want to come date us and you're demanding that we take you serious? No, we got to work together. And that starts by communicating with each other and stop pointing at us. Seriously, when did indie comics become our job to fix the entire industry when the industry's never given a crap about us? We suddenly figured out a way to make it work without your part of the industry and are creating our own brand new comics industry. And now you want us to come save you when you couldn't have thrown a lifeline to us if we were on fire and you had so much water you were pouring it down a drain. Now you want us to come save you. I don't understand it, Kip. Well, explain to me how it became our problems when everyone in this room would give a book to a retailer. if a retailer just spoke to us, doesn't have to be nice, just gave us the time of day. There's still creators. I sent out emails recently, a few weeks ago. Everyone, oh, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. Okay, so maybe we'll get back to you, Kip. Maybe we'll get back to you.
JD Calderon says those retailers never supported us, and he's on the train. Yeah, JD's on the train right now. I imagine JD. I think of JD on the way home because he's in New York. I think of him being on like a subway, getting off the subway, passing Benson and Stabler on the way up the steps while they're going to investigate some horrible crime was committed on the subway right beneath him. Ralph says we do support the local comic shop, but they are in no big hurry to support most indie creators. Brian Germain, hello Brian. He says it's an interesting question. I think the answer should be determined by how comic stores treat indie comics in their stores. JD Calderon says she's right. Lola's right. Ralph Griffin says most of us still visit local comic shop on occasion and buy product now and then. Brian says lucky at all the introduction stuff is an attraction factor anyway, luckily. And JD also says that's primarily a diamond issue screwing us over, Randy.
Randy, go. Well,
Yeah.
that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Go back. We have the indie podcasts all archived on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, ring that bell, and you go back and listen to my rant about how the retail stores have treated the indie comic situation for the last 20, 30 years. And it's not always the retailer's fault. A lot of it is Diamond and the retailers just trying to keep their head above water and listening to too many people supposedly that know the industry telling them not to invest in the future. That's all.
Jonathan, 79,804 people on Indie Vote Radio want to know what you think about this question.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any one group's responsibility at all. I think it's a multiple amount of groups that are responsible in keeping it together. The shops need to support indie comics. Indie comics need to support the shops. The community needs to support the fact that there is a store there, so customers need to support. Customers need to support when they go inside those stores, they need to buy the indie books and so forth. It's a cycle, and if one is broken, then it's not going to work out. So if there's a store that's not going to support indie, I'm not going to support them. I'm probably not going to go in there and buy anything from them. I'm going to find the next shop and so forth, and that's how it works. Almost in any business, it's more than one player.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, Kip, I've been around since the direct market started, and I've watched Diamond mistreat the independents in the green section for a long time. In fact, I got out of it for quite a few years because I couldn't stand jumping through their hoops. I literally, the last time I self-published a bunch of books, now that's Arrow Comics, we did about 55, 56 products. I had a publisher guy that was there, and pretty much his job was dealing with Diamond because I couldn't do it, or else I would have died a long time ago from high blood pressure and banging. I would have lost many phones banging it on the counter, asking Diamond how come they don't do normal business practices from the many hoops that they were having us jump through. I mean, it got to the point where they were telling us what books I could and could not print. And they were restricting the amount of books going to these stores because I had so many retailers coming at me begging and asking me why I was treating Diamond so badly when they ordered 5 or 10 of a book and they only got 3 or 4. So that really, the animosity has been building for 30 years. The independents have finally found a way to get out there and get seen. And now you want to be upset that we're not treating the guys who treated us bad for 30 years with some respect. That's not really how this works. There's going to be a way to save the retailers, and there's going to probably be a really creative and real inventive indie person out there who's going to figure out how to do it, because quite honestly, DC is abandoning you and Marvel has never given a crap about you, about the retailers. That is, they don't care how the product gets out as long as the product gets out. And now in their minds, the product gets out on the silver screen. So and then everything else is ancillary merchandise.
That sweet movie deal. That sweet movie deal.
Sweet movie deal.
Randy, other Randy, good
Randall. You can call me Zim for the program.
Yeah.
Just to keep us apart.
I know I didn't skip over you. What do you think?
I agree there is an argument to be made. However, I mean, I also agree that, okay, like, isn't it the responsibility of the indie community to help sustain the retail outlets? Oh, you mean like devoting our lives to making products that you're supposed to be selling? Like that? Is that support enough? Is that, is that going to be, like I get a little crazy thinking about like, well, where does our responsibility begin and end exactly? If it's not a win-win relationship, if I can't go to the store, sell my book to that store in quantity for 50% off the cover, so he gets some money, I get some money, and everybody wins, then there is no responsibility on my part. I mean, I might choose to gift him with one copy, and he can sell it on commission, and when it sells, we're talking about $5. So, do you think he's going to take the time out of his day to PayPal me $5? Probably not. So it's going to end up being a gift to him. And that is that's the end of my responsibility to that store. I put it on my my social media. Hey, this store is carrying my book. I don't tell them that, it's only one copy. If they are doing their part and they're like, yeah, this guy bought me 5 copies, I'm going to do more than just post about his store. I'm going to tell everybody I know this store supports indie comics. He gets it. He understands what people want, and he caters to that. And that's the responsibility. I am a democratic capitalist, and capitalism is a dirty word these days, but that's what I am. But there is a difference between pure capitalism and democratic capitalism, and it's beautiful. Democratic capitalism concentrates on paying attention to your stakeholders and lifting them up with everybody else, and that's that responsibility. So that's the part of it I agree with. The other part, not so much. I don't agree with it at all. I'm more in Rob's camp, where like, fuck off. You didn't help me all these years. You've been, on diamonds. Well, I'll keep it polite, but
well, in fairness,
on the check, so to speak. And they have responsibilities to Diamond too, because Diamond will send out spies to the store to make sure that they're adhering to the policies. And if they're not, then guess what? No more Diamond distribution, no more comics, no more customers. And that's what everybody's really after. So,
JD Calderon says, I can never have enough rants. Thanks, JD.
And in fairness, it's not about them fucking off. It's them acknowledging they've damaged the relationship. They have to take that moment. Store owners have to be like, yeah, you know what? We have. Honestly, openly, we have not treated the indie creators because we didn't think we'd be here. That's the truth. We never thought you guys would be able to get where you've gotten on your own without us.
Yep.
We would like to rebuild that relationship. Let's take the step forward. But what are we hearing? We're hearing from crowdfunding sites that we need to cut our prices and have to be competitive. We're being told that we need to give our books for free to stores to help them survive. It's all about the stores. The creators have worked their ass off to build this, and now you just want to come take from them. You are the reasons we had to build this. So we built a better mousetrap. So no, we don't have to do anything. We would like to work with you.
And also, go ahead, Rob. Finish up your thought.
I was just going to say, we would like to work with you. We want that relationship. But stop telling us it's our fault. It's not.
And again, to the retailers, you really need to keep in mind that we are not the ones. We are not the ones who put you into the situation that you are now. You are passing the buck off to people that suddenly start making money outside of your system. That quite frankly, a lot of us never expected the reaction to the crowdfunds that we get. Just watch these crowdfunds, get an education, watch these crowdfunds every once in a while, and watch how many of them go past that goal. That goal is sitting there for us to break even, or in a lot of our minds to justify us doing all the work on that book. Mm-hmm. Don't come to us crying that we're not saving you when you should have been crying the last 30 years to Marvel and DC for not giving a crap, doing multiple variant covers for meaningless reasons, kicking out, over shipping books to you, charging you extra shipping that you weren't expecting to pay. There's all sorts of other reasons. So please, if you're a retailer out there, don't be mad at us. Ask to carry our books because we want you to still be there. We love you, just like what Kip says here. A lot of us found our livelihoods from going to shops very much like that, or by going to the local drugstore and picking it up off of spinner racks. We are not the problem. You need to redirect your anger to where it belongs to go. And it's in the other direction. It's towards Diamond, it's towards Marvel, it's towards DC, it's towards Dark Horse, even Boom and Valiant. You need to ask. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting out of box. I'll stop.
I was going to say Randy's also on the persona non grata list for the Diamond Retailer Summit.
Well, yeah, probably. Dennis and I sit across the street and point and laugh.
Yeah.
But seriously, retailers out there, if you were to just do that, you could change your industry. And you should have done it 30 years ago.
I want to go through some comments here. JD says, can never have enough rants. And Mindy Wheeler says, hey, man, we just sold 1,500 copies of our book to a retailer on our platform. Maybe it's changing. Indie Crowdfund. They launched a new crowdfunding platform yesterday. It's possible that it is changing.
Maybe it will. I hope it does.
Yeah. Ralph Griffith says, that's awesome, Mindy. We need more of those types of retailers. Yeah, we need retailers that are willing to buy 1,500 copies. That's a lot. That's a retailer that has faith in a product, because 1,500 copies is a lot of books to move.
Yeah.
Luke Stone says Liberty Entertainment Distribution Group has to plug. Ding, ding, ding. A distribution company that I own. I didn't just start. I built it over 4 years, but yeah, and we've got retailers on there that are interested in buying the books too. So there are retailers out there, guys, who want to carry these books. Yep. Seth says, I can't stay. I'm at work. Want to say hello. Hello, Seth.
Hello, Seth. Hope you're doing well.
Most retailers reap what they sow. And also, now I know that Mark has to go. Mark, I want to talk to you really quickly, sir, about Guano Guy. And I know you're at work.
Yeah.
I just noticed the pretty blue skies behind you, and I'm like, holy shit, he's actually at work. So you got to hurry.
Yeah. Get off this break.
Yeah. So talk to us about Guano Guy real quick. But
where is it at? Can we pull it up for you?
Yeah, this is a schmucky superhero book I've been doing for quite a while. Started as a web comic, did it for a couple years that way in really short story format, and then started doing full-length issues. A couple years ago, started going to the conventions and the stores, and got it on. I was in like 10 stores across Florida, Georgia for a while, and it's a comedy superhero book. So best way I can quick describe it is Seinfeld with superpowers. If you just like ridiculous comedy, cultural references, gags, jokes, and a story that doesn't take itself that seriously. Like, we are just having fun. You're sitting down and got 5-10 minutes. This would be a fun thing to read.
You got it? You already got it. I'm behind.
There it is, Guano Guy.
Now it goes to Kickstarter when, Mark?
So September 15th. That'll be the third Kickstarter. And both have been successful so far. Both times everybody got their books and got them on time. In the last time it happened, the Kickstarter was during the pandemic and my computer died. Still got those books out the door. Still got them to people on time.
There you go.
That's as close to a guarantee as I can give you.
Luke Stone says Guano Guys, everything is right about fun comics. I do want to pick up Guano Guy. I think it looks really interesting and really funny. Something a little bit lighthearted.
Yeah.
And Randy, you do a show Sunday
morning. It's a Sunday Funny show. Yeah.
Right here on Indie Vote, which talks about funny comics and
books just like this.
Comics.
Yeah. Yep.
I do like Guano Guy. I think Guano Guy is right for animation. I guess you can't talk too much about that, Mark. But it's a really cool project. 15th September on. You're gonna launch this. You have no problem fulfilling Kickstarters or Indiegogo campaigns. But are you this particular book? I know that I talked to you about it, and I forgot the question I asked, and you told me it was a good question. I forgot it now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But you've been doing this for a while. In fact, I was looking at your one video when you pitch it, and you got so much high energy. It's really infectious, and
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it just I'm gonna back Guano Guy because I can't wait till the 15th so I can back it. And everyone listening, he is shipping that book. Is there a PDF? Yeah, there's a PDF. So if you're out the country and shipping makes it a little bit more expensive for you, then he's got PDFs which he's willing to send out, which is free shipping on those PDFs.
Yeah. We'll teleport it via mystical means right to you, no shipping.
Unless you live in one of those off the wall countries that charge us for email. I'm not gonna say which one that is. So there is one country that I know of that charges for email though. 25 cents. Well, what they consider 25 cents. So Mark, I know you got to get out of here. I don't know how much longer you can stay. But is there any question you want to ask him about this? I know that you had.
I know he goes live on the 15th. My big question for this is, tell us about the puppets. I really like the art. There's some puppetry going on. What's that about?
Yeah, so I got wacky villains in issue 2. There was the crime mime. And issue 3, well, the crime, and then the next villain was introduced, but is dealt with in issue now number 3. Is we've got the crime choreographer and Mr. Puppet Master. So Mr. Puppet Master is the one with the puppets, and he's an out-of-work puppeteer. He got mistreated by the amusement park that he was creating puppets for. They stole his properties, and so he's going to try and come back with some new stuff and see if he can wreck the park.
Cool. I'm just thinking these little puppets walking around. For some reason, I just find that like really funny. When I was a kid, I was afraid of Puppet Master. And now that they have the action figures, I want to buy them to confront my fears. I'm like Batman in that way. Like I'm gonna get that big one with the version. Yeah.
Wait.
You're conquering your fear by buying puppets?
Yeah.
How old were you when you never mind.
I was really little when I seen Puppet Master, man. I'm telling you, my parents fucked me up.
Yeah.
I myself have always wondered about that because, like, there's kids in Nightmare on Elm Street, and I know they tell the kids this is just make believe, and they see it from behind the scenes, but that's still, I still think that would be scary.
Yeah. You know what? I've been watching a lot of Law and Order SVU, and they had a case on there that was really bad, and they had to reenact things. And well, they didn't do reenactment. They're showing like this girl had tricked her boyfriend and she taped it, and she's like, and the other person is there. The other person is young, and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? Like, you can't have them making out in front of a child. There's a child. It really freaked me out, and I stopped the episode. I just felt dirty. That's how SVU does, At 3:00 in the afternoon, they're talking about fecal matter in someone's ear. It's horrible. Don't watch Law and Order if you can avoid it. Unless you're Rob. Rob got me hooked up to it. So, Mark, let me let you get out of here because I know you have very little time, and we still got one more question to go to before we talk to Randall and Jonathan about their projects.
Mark, I'd love to have you on the Sunday Funnies program some Sunday morning.
Yeah, I want to be on your Sunday's Funny. That seems perfect.
This is right down that alley. Yeah, absolutely. It looks great. Thanks so much for coming on. Yeah.
Before you go, where can they find you?
Yes.
Go ahead. Where can we find you?
So find me on Facebook, either Mark Darden or the Guano Guy. Either one of those will be great. If you just want the Guano Guy updates, then the Guano Guy. And if you want to also see some things I'm doing, then Mark Darden. Either one of those will work. That's the best place to find me because that's where I like doing most of my social media chit-chatting.
Cool.
So, guys, thank you for having me on, and thanks for understanding that I was going to be on for a short period.
Thanks so much for coming on. And again, that's Guano Guy.
And Mark,
the campaign's going to kick off on the 15th, right?
15th.
Mark, before you go, I just want to know: can I make fun of where you work? Not where you work, but what you do. Is that okay?
I mean, you can try, but it's.
I'm just worried. You're an air traffic controller.
Right? Yeah.
Don't do it. Well, don't stress them out. He's at work.
Like, hurry up and get back to work. Jesus.
You're going to make fun of medical staff next, or
no? I'm
firefighters.
No, I'm like, bring them in. Like, while we're talking about comics, they're playing circling,
It's
Varian, that was for your own good. That was for your own good, Varian. You
it's
need
the pot. It's the pot talking.
Good night, guys.
I'm just worried. I'm worried.
Mark, great meeting you. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot.
So yeah, I'm just worried. There's planes in the sky circling around. I think things all the time.
Leave it alone.
Let's keep Dosey doing. Keep it going. Keep going.
All right. So last question we have, and this is going to be one
for the ages.
One that I hope to avoid, but I told you guys about it. So
we cannot avoid it.
Yeah,
we can't avoid
it. All right.
We'll face it head on, and if we have to, we'll just gloss over it.
Yeah, and
kick it in its ass and send it on its way.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Okay, I have to make sure I have the right one up. All right, here we go.
Drop the taco. Get in the car.
A few weeks ago, from Randy is always right. The other Randy, not the Randall or the other Randy. This is a different Randy. He's written in before. Mm-hmm. A few weeks ago, it was said on this channel that you folks walk the middle in the SJWCG wars. It's war. It's war. Why is it war, Randy? Why is it a war? You have members from both parties on. Hopefully their whole bodies. Would it not be wiser to keep extremists from either break of the tree, that's branch of the tree off your platform? Okay. Randy is always right.
Randy, let me tackle this one for Randy. Randy,
Are you going to do a rant? Do I need to pull up a box?
I'm going to do a slight one.
I got the soapbox right here for you.
Small quick rant. Let me just say this. It'll be very quick. Randy, I don't know. I don't assume to know your nationality. Okay. But let me tell you something. You can see, you can clearly, if you go on YouTube, and if you're not on YouTube, go subscribe to our YouTube channel right now, Indie Vote on YouTube. If you go to that YouTube channel or you watch us on Roku, you'll see that I am African American. I know what I know what discrimination feels like. Okay, I know what being who making assumptions about your character is like. I know when I walk into a bookstore and I get the best service ever because they can't believe I'm walking in there. That doesn't make me feel good. That's not a good feeling. Can I help you, sir? God damn, can I get in the store first? So here's the problem. In my soul, Randy, I can't put out discrimination. I can't. I just cannot do it. It just seems wrong. I can't put out what's been given to me. It doesn't help anything. And when we start talking about this, the SJWCG wars, and how we walk the middle, listen, it's like I don't care. I don't care. You guys want to say who we can have on the platform? That's discrimination, because before long it's going to turn into who you're going to find something wrong with everyone. We got Rob on here for Jesus sakes, and I mean that's enough. Rob, go ahead.
It's people like you, Randy, who are always wrong for bringing up these stupid line drawing comments. If you don't like someone, there's this thing. It's called not buying their wares. We give you a diverse group of creators, and all we hear about is one person who shows up once 6 months ago, 2 months ago. Get over it. Look at all the amazing people on the show today. Support them. Be happy that we're bringing you very different people very often. No other show is doing that. It's always the same 5 people, like it's a Friends episode. So, Randy, in this, I'm sorry to say, buddy, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You can do better. I was told that this year. Do better, Randy.
I don't think it's right. I mean, either branch. It's like I'm not going to stop anybody from coming on the show as long as they had a comic to pitch. I mean, now the person who there's a guy who makes balloon animals while he's naked, and he can't come on the show, obviously for reasons. But
it's because he keeps making penises, and we know we're going to get into trouble.
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm gonna let you and Randy and the other Randy weigh in on this one. We'll start with you, Jonathan. Did you want to say anything about this, or you want to pass?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think continuing to separate the two is only going to cause even more of a division, and that's going to create more of the war, which is a terrible thing to call it. For I think the whole goal.
Did we just lose him? He's frozen.
Oh, the SJW's trying to silence him.
Holy crap.
Damn, they reached it and
to
got
make sure that there's not sides. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is just drawing a line in the sand and saying either you have to be on one or the other isn't good for the industry at all. So I'm
Randy,
glad that this.
Ring it, Randy. Hit that bell.
I'm glad that there's a platform that embraces any.
He's frozen again.
Oh.
We know what you meant, Jonathan.
I'm with you, Jonathan. I'm with you.
We're all with you. Come on back, buddy. Come on back.
Even if the internet's not, we're with you.
Somebody, yeah.
Person, and you don't have to be one or the other. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. That's all I have to say.
I'm sorry you were cut off, Jonathan.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Hey,
you were
beautiful
making good
words.
points, though. You were making good points.
Beautiful words.
Yes.
So like, I think anything where you're forced to take a side is bad policy. So no, I don't think it's wiser to keep anybody off of a free speech sort of platform. That's kind of the opposite of what wisdom is. Wisdom is recognizing that you do have some extremist opinions. And I'm not saying you should give weight or credit to any of those opinions at all, but I'm also saying you shouldn't start censoring them, because that's exactly what extremists do. So why would you ally yourself with an extremist who, like, you have to look at what the policies are if you're going to. I mean, God, this is very political. We're a bunch of freaking comic book artists. We make comics and we entertain. That's what we do. And if you start saying, well, this group can't participate because of, then you're not entertaining anymore. You're doing something else. So stop that. That's not.
Go ahead. We're not going to read your incredibly awesome, well thought out, well detailed comic because you voted for the wrong guy.
Right.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Get an education. Hashtag get an education.
I also have this very. I don't know if this is a suspicion that can be confirmed, but it's something that was mentioned in passing during a Comicsgate podcast. I am not a member of Comicsgate. However, I've been following a lot of those Comicsgaters for a long time and enjoying a lot of their content because they don't tend to discriminate who's on the show. It's just nobody on the far left SJW side ever participates for an extended period of time without giving up or being, just separating themselves from it. It's not that they're kicking them out, but that's not what I'm trying to get to. What I'm trying to get to is that I'm pretty sure that the term Comicsgate has been copyrighted by Ethan Van Sciver, and that every time it's used in print, there's some sort of this is just a theory. Again, like I could be totally wrong on this, but I think that they have an incentive to continue stirring the pot, and that's to the CG discredit. That's to their side's discredit. To the SJW side's discredit. It's easy enough to find holes in that. I don't need to talk about them. I don't think.
It's incredibly easy to brand and pigeonhole people, and that's what Randy's out to do. He wants. Are you A or are you B? Because we can't have C or D. You're either A or you're B, and if you're not B, you gotta be A. That's bullshit. Oh, sorry. Oh, we are TVMA DLSV.
And the more you further that discussion, the more you're putting money in pockets of guys that don't necessarily need it. And I think Ethan's a great guy, and from what I can tell, I don't know him personally, but I've looked intently to find something that is directly hateful or extremist in nature that he's said, and I've not found anything. So maybe I'm not looked in the right place, but I don't go to those places. So
we welcome everybody to keep looking and to tell us if they find anything.
Yeah,
because and I'm right there with Randall. I haven't found anything yet.
I have to remind you guys to tell you guys a story about the time I tried to copyright the term Dark Vader.
Dark Vader?
I tried Dark Vader. Yeah, I wanted a quote every time someone said it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the Randy, you have to listen to the other Randy who says, a very smart guy named Randy Zimmerman says, just make good comics.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
It's be nice.
I long for the day when the brand, that stigma of Comicsgate just dissipates into nothing. Hey, remember those old days when those people on the left were arguing with the people on the right and pegged them as a hate group and kept saying it over and over again? It's a hate group. It's like, no, it's just people who do comics. If you don't like their comics, don't buy their comics. If you don't like the way that they look, don't buy the way that don't buy their books, and let the market sort it out. And right now, I gotta tell you, Randy is always right. Right? That's who just put that up there. There's a side out there that's making some bank, and something's up there. We're not all, they're not all idiots.
Ralph says
if they're clearing huge accounts on their crowdfunding, maybe we should all just concentrate on great comics. Because have you looked? There's some phenomenally great comics out there.
Yeah,
you're right. Keanu Reeves made a lot of money today.
He sure did. He made a lot more money than I was expecting. I have to apologize to Rob because I told him he's never going to make that much money. And boom, he's probably at a $250,000 by now.
Ralph Griffin says this again. Who the fuck cares? Just make good comics for Pete's sake.
Amen.
And drop this silly war. Let us work together with good comics as the goal.
3 points to Ralph.
I think some people want this to be WWE versus WCW. They want that war, and it's like, Ralph says people will support what they like if they miss out on some good comics because of this war, and they will. Unfortunately, they are. They're going to lose friendships.
Let's stop calling it a war. Let's stop calling everybody's hate groups. Let's stop branding people in general, because if the people who point at Comicsgate and use the word hate group were to stop, the word would go away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got some factions, you got some immature brats out there, you got some really nasty brats on both sides of this that just need to calm down and draw. They need to calm down and make great comics and speak through your comics. There's some incredible art that's coming out, and I've been in this business for longer than most of you have been alive. It's never been a greater time out there to find comics, to look at diversity in comics done with skill and integrity than there is now. And a lot of those books are coming out through crowdfunding campaigns, through Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So you need to go out there and look, because don't miss out on some awesome stuff. You're going to be real sorry if you sit there and you start going after somebody's book just because that you thought they were on one side of the fence or the other, and you go back to look for it, and the only way you can find it was originally a $25 book is now $225 on a first edition that you desperately want. Because it's going to happen. You need to get out there and get in it, and not worry about the crappy politics.
Grand Rapids Comic Con says it is healthy to get both sides talking as well. Maybe we'll help with creating some peace. Dialogue is always good. We've done 2 shows like that. Rob Anderson hosted them, and we brought those who labeled themselves SJWs and those who labeled themselves CG together for a dialogue. The first one was it was a really good conversation, and there was no fighting. There was no name calling. And they found that they were.
But it wasn't done to cause a furthering in the war. It was done to cause an education out there for people to understand there's not really a whole lot that divides you if you just want to do good comics.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one did the same thing, Barry. And if anything, it brought everyone closer and realized how silly it all was.
Yeah.
To the point where everyone in the room was like, why is there this? You get to that point where you look around, and I think even in real wars, people just look around one day and they're like, what are we really fighting about?
JD Calderon says we need open dialogue between the sides. Newsflash: cancel culture is not entertaining, says Pops Van Zandt.
There you go.
And it's not. I mean, it's really bad. But what we need to do, in my opinion, is if we have a conversation, we bring both sides together and we have them talk. Open, dialogue, and I think that they'll find that they have a lot more in common than they think. Because I keep hearing both sides say, "Hey, just make good comics." Okay, then that's what I'm trying to do. Leave me be.
We're in an entertainment industry. And entertainment means that you read something in order to lose yourself and to pull yourself out of your situation in real life. And believe me when I tell you, comics kept me sane more than once. Mm-hmm. And I owe it a debt of thanks. And the amount of debt that I owe it it's nothing compared to what I've been able to contribute to it. And and if you can't pull, if you can't keep the comics entertaining instead of BS, don't be here. It's time for you to go. You need to go and join your favorite political party, and for heaven's sake, try to build up a positive movement or whatever in your community or in your political group. But get out of our entertainment industry. You need to go.
Go run for office. Go make a change in government.
Yeah. Go work for office. Go out and get votes. Because we're here to entertain people and to help people lose themselves away from the real life situation that you want to try to cause.
Or at least brand what you're doing as such. Like if you're going to make propaganda, label it as such. Put it out there as propaganda. Don't try to sneak stuff in. I hate that. I hate when I'm reading a comic. And you're right. You read comics to escape your mundane life, and comics have saved my life more than once too. It's awesome. I think a lot of us have that in common. And if you're in that escape zone and then you're forced to think about the real world for 2 seconds, and there's some political crap agenda injected in the story, it really takes you out of the moment and kills everything.
And how come all these people are always the most unhappiest people that we know? The cancel culture people are always the people not being successful. They're upset. They're jealous of other people. You can see it. You can feel it. They're just crabbish people. You never see someone who's doing a really good thing right now step up and go, and, how horrible is that? No. Tom King calls someone out who's not even Comicsgate, and then he turns around and has to apologize for it. Tom King has been having a bad 2 years. Now he's just lashing out at people. Like, get therapy, people. Find a psychiatrist.
So I want. Speaking of good books, though, we do have good books on the show tonight. We're gonna start with Jonathan's, and he did freak. And the thing about Jonathan's work is I didn't realize it when I had first seen the. I think the first time I seen it was on Kickstarter. Back then it was called Backer Pause. Now, back then it was still Kickstarter Pause, and I remember looking at it. We talked about it at the beginning of the show with the live action screens cut, live action scenes cut in. But you got other books besides that now. You got a new one. But tell us a little bit about your books first.
Yeah. So my first book was Freak Show Princess, which is a 24-page one-shot zombie horror comic book, and that was just kind of like me testing the waters of making indie comic books. And then I caught that bug of creation, if you will, and I just started pumping out more stuff. I have a second book titled Capable, and that's a superhero series about one day handicapped people around the world waking up with superpowers that are opposite of their disability.
Cool.
Then I have another book coming out with Scout called The Recount, which is like almost like a 24 or a Tom Clancy style thriller, and that's coming out in November. And then I decided to do a follow-up to that Freak Show Princess one-shot, which is still in the style of a self-contained story, but still has the common threads. So if you enjoyed the first one, you can appreciate what's going on in the second one, even though you don't need to read the first one in the first place. So yeah, that's my comics in a nutshell.
We want to bring some of them up. Let me see here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I've got Freak Show Night if you want me to pull that up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Freak Show Night launched today. Really excited about this one. Has beautiful art by the interior artist, and the main cover artist is Stefano Cartaselli. He's an Italian artist who's worked with Heavy Metal magazine, a couple of books at Scout. He's worked over at Caliber, and he has this real unique, like raw, ununiform type style that I thought fit the main character in this story very well.
I was going to say his style kind of reminds me of Ted McKeever.
Yeah, I was thinking that Sam Keith, and he. This is the biggest selling point for me on hiring him is he does the coloring in watercolors. So this is painted colors right here. 100% traditional, no digital. at all. So
now, how long is it taking to do this?
we started back in May, so that's why I feel comfortable launching it right now. It is a long process with him penciling, inking in, coloring it, but yeah, with it being 24 pages and not a series, we had enough time to get it done.
You can see the attention and care he put in composition, guiding your eye. This isn't something that he just like did in a week and a half or something.
No.
It looks good.
It looks great. Is what it looks like. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I got some cool rewards. So I brought the original art team from Freak Show Princess back to do an exclusive cover that's like a homage to Freak Show Princess. So I should put another picture on this campaign where they're side by side. But the trade dress matches the original one, and that's Ben Worrell's art, who did the art for Freak Show Princess. Cool. Same colorist, same letter for that cover. And then this cover right here is my artist, Gabrielle Ibarra, who is working on the recount with me at Scout. He was nice enough to do a exclusive cover for me.
Cool.
Yeah. And this is a creation of my own. Very humbly decided to design my own cover, and I'm calling it the writer's variant. So this is born of me saying, God, I wish I could do a cover, but I can't draw with shit. So what would I do? And I just was like, well, I got the first page of the script, and then I had my letterer kind of make a fake coffee stain there and a peel of the corner. So I plan on having this printed on like traditional sketch cover cardstock, so it has like a grittier feel to it.
Yeah. Cool. That looks cool. I like that. I did some fake coffee stains on I forget what it was. I think it was one of my comics, and it was I could not find appropriate ones online. Yeah. And I was freaking out about it, and then it dawned on me, I'm like, hey, idiot, go make some coffee stains.
Just go make one. Yeah.
So I got some white paper and just took some, and just I don't think I actually used coffee. I think I used something else and then changed it once I scanned it in. Yeah. But I think Lola remembers that because there was a lot of cussing that day. Trying to get the things to look just right.
There's cussing every day when you're at chart desk.
Yeah, there's always cussing. Mother.
Always cussing.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a cover that Mike Grell did for one of his books that has black cat, white, actually it was white cat paw marks all the way across the cover. We asked him, how did you do that? Well, I dipped my cat's paws in white ink and sent him across a black cover page, and there it is.
That's cool. That's good. And I know that a lot of people make their own brushes now. This looks pretty cool. Now, you are only shipping this in the United States, correct?
Yeah, I really did want to do international this time, but it's so hard with which countries are and aren't shipping things in and out. I just and I'm still pretty new to Kickstarter. This is only my third campaign this year. Last year I had a failed one, so I want to get it down more before I start shipping international. And so I apologize to those folks, in other countries. I'm working on it, and I can make some. I just don't want to promise something I can't deliver quite yet. So I hope you can appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Kino Subway says this that looks interesting. Is it on Indiegogo or only Kickstarter? So I'm on Kickstarter for now, right?
Yes, Kickstarter right now.
When you talk about shipping, I ordered this June 3rd. I ordered a Wolverine keychain because I like these big rubber faces they have for these toys, these figures. The keychain. I'm sorry, and I got Batman, I got Spider-Man, and I think I had Iron Man at one point, but he was metal. But I ordered that June 3rd. It just came to me. Was it Monday? Yeah. I think it was Monday. It just showed up in the mail. So June 3rd was it yesterday? Okay, so to August 31st to get to me from Australia. So shipping is crazy right now. International shipping. But don't you offer a PDF?
Yeah, I have a PDF.
Yeah. And again, that PDF can get to you magically.
Digital Freak Show.
Yeah, magically. Yep, it's a Digital Freak Show. And that is available.
John, real quick, will you be going to in demand on Indiegogo if you successfully fund on Kickstarter? Because that's a big thing right now. And we definitely have seen people take advantage of it. We have Ines who has she's saying it's Ava now, right?
Yeah.
It's Ava. She has Ava. She did amazing. She got 100 more backers in demand.
Yeah.
After the campaign. It's definitely something you should look into if you haven't thought about it yet. I'd highly suggest it.
Our friend Anthony Figaro had the same type of result.
Yeah, he did amazing.
Yeah, definitely considering Indiegogo in the future. I'm the kind of person that I need to research before I pull a trigger on anything like that. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. I'm not shooting that down.
Well, Jonathan, all you have to do is successfully fund on Kickstarter and call them up, and they'll set it up for you. It only becomes you don't even have to crowdfund. It's just a store now to sell the book.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, I need to get on that then. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I miss Keno Subway's first hail, everyone. Hail, Keno Subway, hail. Yeah, so the Freak Show Princess, Freak Show Night, get over there. Buy all Jonathan's work. Capable. He's got a lot of stuff he's creating. He's somebody you're probably gonna want to watch and see what he does next, because I personally think that Freak Show, the Freak Show line is great, and this right here is just another example of what we're doing. I like it. I mean, this looks really good. I'm gonna have to back this one too. I'm getting tired of you guys putting out good comics. I think I need to go visit Nevada and pick up some of those shitty books.
I'm not tired of good comics.
I'm not. My pockets are tired. I'm buying $200 video games. All these good comics are coming out. Too many for me to read. I actually got a backlog now, so I gotta get through those.
I just put in over $100 today on crowdfunding.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh. Listen, I have stuff that comes in the mail, and I know that questions will be asked, answers will not be satisfactory. So I try to just take it easy. Guys, go over there and check out Freak Show Night on Kickstarter. He has 29 days left to go. He's almost at his goal, 1,500, $1,500. He's at $8.59. You can help put him over that. I know you can. Indie Vote. I know you guys can. Even if you get the PDF, it's going to help. It's going to go a long way in making sure that he gets that goal and can put this book out. He says it's a one shot, but here's the thing about one shots. One shots become series very, very easily.
And again, Jonathan, how much of this is just ready to go?
It is, I would say, 3/4 of the way done, with a deadline of the end of this month being completely finished. So
you're just well underway and really close to having everything together. Yeah.
Who's sharing it?
I wanted to ship. I'm hoping it ships before Halloween. I want it to be, Halloween book. So
cool.
Randy, could you reload it and see what we got if we had any back? Because this is something I like to check just because I was gonna pop over there and back it, but I'd like to see anybody's.
No, hasn't moved yet.
Yeah, it hasn't moved. Okay, I just want to make sure because sometimes it happens.
Everybody, that's Freak Show Night with a K. Zombie horror one-shot comic book on Kickstarter.
That's right. Pop over there and check it out. And then
a convict finds himself a defender of those living among the undead.
That's right. And now we are going to pop over to Randall Bishop. The other Randall Bishop. The other one. The other. We're going to pop over to him, and we're going to talk about his book. And Randall, tell us about your title.
Well, my title is called The Hawk of New York. I did that right the first time. I pointed right to it. But I'm working on issue 7 of this book right now. And one thing that I discovered was that you can make an 8-page comic book on a single piece of paper to promote the real comic book that comes out later.
That's cool.
So I've got these.
Oh, Randy's going to fall in love. Wait a minute.
There you go.
A weird format.
Whoa.
Cool. Good for you.
It's got a nice, I'm making more of these for other properties that I'm working with. This is a band called Pure Ed. That poster's behind me, and there's a music video associated with that. And I'm doing some other music videos too. The main focus for me right now is to try to get Patreon subscribers. I don't have an Indiegogo. I don't have a Kickstarter, any crowdfunders right now. Maybe that's on the agenda when I collect all the books into one graphic novel. But for right now, that's what I'm going for. I've got. Let me see if I can switch to screen share, and I'll show you what that looks like.
And Randy, it reminds me of that book you just showed. It reminds me of this really good comic I picked up at Wizard World Chicago years ago,
Oh
and I
yeah.
remember flipping through it and falling in love with it. But then realizing that I the person who did the comic didn't leave any of their information.
Contact information. Yeah.
So I had no way of finding out who they were or getting in touch with them. I'm going to show you a screen here. Time bound.
Yeah, you guys can see this, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Inexperienced with all of this.
Oh, you're good.
So yeah, I mean, these are my levels. I constantly updating them. I've got a 1.5-minute long video here. I won't go into it now, but if people want to know more, they can click on that, and it tells you a little bit about me and all my projects.
Now they can find this on Patreon.
Yeah, it's R Bishop, R, and then my last name. I've also got Hawker New York 1 through 7 on Comixology, so you can pick those up dirt cheap there. I think they're 99 cents a piece, except for the last.
Could you close in on number 4? I mean, could you do a close up? I
can do better than that. I've got it over here as PDF. So this is the PDF for issue 4. This is a Mitch Faust cover.
Yeah, I'm not being a pervert. That's an awesome cover. I'm not.
It looks great. It does. Yeah.
Oh, Mitch is the best. He does a Dragon Con every year, and he sits back there, and this is more or less his forte is babes, fantasy babes, and he had this print that I adjusted to make it fit my Hawk New York character. I'm retelling a Navajo myth in this one. It's the Buffalo White Woman, the origin of the peace pipe. Basically, in my story, I've got a half Indian, half white guy who's an orphan, and he grows up in this corrupt state system. Kind of started with issue 4 here, but it's okay. He's got a full Indian mentor, and the mentor is trying to tell him a little bit about his heritage because he knows nothing. He's just kind of this punk rock, unlikable kid, gets in trouble a lot, and it launches into the story. I mean, this is a real verbal tradition, and that's what I'm trying to do with the series is expound on some of these myths that have been around for centuries, but haven't really been disclosed, and they've not really been given proper size and weight in society. So, I mean, I can't pretend that what I'm doing is a service to them, but I certainly enjoy reading about those kinds of things, those kinds of undiscovered stories that have meaning in a lot of different other cultures.
I personally think Lolo just wants to cover because it reminds her of one of her special friends. One of your special friends from.
Well, to backpedal a little bit, this is what the first issue looked like. And this was put it on 2-page. This was an experiment because I did it on smaller paper. I did it on 9x12 paper, and then I printed it on newsprint. Now this is a newsprint texture that I added to Comixology.
It looks like an old 60s, 70s comic.
That's what I wanted. I even made it the Golden Age format. The Golden Age format died in the 80s, the first 2 issues are in the Golden Age format.
Cool.
A little bit wider than the modern stuff.
Uh-huh.
And this is just telling his first few steps as a character, and then the second issue kind of concludes the arc. So if you pick up the first 2 issues, you have a complete coming of age origin story.
Yeah.
And I've sold these with a book and record set. That's been my bestseller. You can't see it on Comixology. Let me see if I can get my camera and I'll just show you the actual book.
Now you can we pick these up? Now we can pick these up printed. Ooh, what's the Matrix?
Oh my God. Sorry about that.
Now we can pick those up printed, correct?
Yes. My store is timebound.co, and I'll bring that up in a second. But I wanted to show you this is a placard for the first 2 issues, and it's formatted to look like the old Power Records sets.
Yeah.
This is Gentford Records. That's my record label, or not my personal. It's the one that I'm signed to. I do music as well. So.
That might have been before your time, Varian.
Yeah. Well, it was coming out with clamshell cassette tapes when I was coming up.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Was that the Hawk of New York soundtrack back there?
And in fact, this story was set in the 80s. This book came out originally in 2015. The idea was I was going to do the clamshell cassette, but I couldn't get all the bands that were on the album without agreeing to do a CD. So I had to do a CD.
I was gonna say we should try to get some of the music on Indie Vault Radio, but it might be kind of hard.
This is all the bands that are on the album.
Cool.
This was the first album, so like now I'm working on a second one for the graphic novel, and it's a whole bunch of video series. I talked to Rob a little bit about maybe launching the video next Friday, like the very first of the video. I just need a platform to premiere it, and no idea what I'm doing at this point when it comes to releasing music videos. The bands I've worked with, they usually handle all that, and now I'm starting to like try to do it myself.
Yeah, we'll work out something for you. I'll be in contact with you after the show. That looks really cool. Now we'll have to pick up your books. You said your store is timebound.co. Timebound.co. It'll redirect you to a Storyby site, Art of Randall Bishop. It's just a little bit shorter, for everybody to get to. Let me see if I can bring it up. I got it. Here we go.
I think I'm back up.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. That way it doesn't tax your system too much. There we go. Timebound Entertainment. Books are pretty affordable. There's a cool patch, $5. I love my patches. I'm kind of like just a swag. Lola called me a swag whore once. Hurt my feelings. But.
Swag whore.
Yeah.
That's my next comic. Don't nobody steal that title. That's an awesome name.
What's a double dare here?
I'm writing that one down.
Okay. $250 for Double Dare. I like that cover too.
Yeah, Double Dare. That's done by Barebutt Comics. It's Brian Wingrove. He would be a great guest for your show, by the way. But I did a couple pages in that story. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's kind of like a Veterans Day issue, and I think I did 3 or 4 pages in that. And so those are my copies. I'm still selling those. He's a great guy. You should get to know him. You were talking about swag. I've got these nice COVID-19 friendly masks that echo the Hawk of New York makeup. I'm going to be debuting these at the Augusta Toy and Comic Show this weekend here in Augusta, Georgia. First actual convention, real life convention. They're doing social distance tables. He bought a bigger venue. There's sanitizer everywhere. It's going to be safe. It's going to be fun.
And there we got a patch. Victoria Hills, what's a patch? These patches here. Sew on or that sew on, iron on.
It's both actually. You can sew it on or you can iron on.
Even when I get iron on patches, I sew them on. I'm very weird like that.
I've got a few left of the bad guy patches laying around here somewhere. Just had one.
And for our radio listeners, that patch is it looks like a hawk with his wings spread out like as if you were looking up at it. You don't see that kind of graphic very often in front of a dream catcher.
Yep.
Right, and the Dreamcatcher and the Hawk are symbolic. It's part of the story. If you read the first couple issues, it kind of makes sense, like how he adopts that as his own personal symbol. And
it's a great looking patch.
Aside, the one that's a little bit different, the one we were just looking at, the patch, is based on the New Way album, which is like on the left, second row down, the Mantelpiece album. That's the one that has the song that I'd like to release Friday.
Okay. And we'll work on that. We'll even get on Indie Vault Radio for everyone listening on Indie Vault Radio right now, which I want to thank all of you. 87,064 people listening.
64.
All around the world. We want to thank you guys. Pop over to YouTube if you get a chance. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, we'll love you for doing that.
We appreciate
helps
all
out
of
a
you
lot.
for listening, no matter where you're at.
And now that I do want to ask you guys a question about your books before we move on. Now, you guys have all created books. I think everyone here's created a book. Even Lola's got a book coming now. Um, yeah, she's been working her ass off. Um, Now that you've all created books, and I know with me, um, how is this? Are you know when you do cons regularly, and then you jump back into it at the end of the year? Like when I first started making comics, my convention year started in May, ended in October, and so from October to May, I was good. I was creating. And then I got serious and started doing more cons and more cons. And I remember when my convention year ended in October, and then I realized I had to back out on the road in January, and it was shocking to me. But there was so much rust that it accumulated. Like wrestling, they call it the ring rust. But there was so much rust that I was just off balance when I came back in January, missing things. A screw was missing for one of my setups, or I don't have any tape, or something was broken. Every year it happens. You have to make these on the fly adjustments. And I used to kick myself about that. I think when we get back to doing conventions again, I think we're all going to need a little bit of extra help because I'm not looking forward to that first setup.
We're all gonna need Rob's banners so we can get free hugs and spanks.
Yeah. What was that, Lola?
You do not set up.
Oh,
I do all the work. And anyone that has seen those at shows can vouch for that.
I disagree. I disagree. I do a lot of work. I was doing comics in 2008 while you were still in high school. Maybe were you still in high school? Maybe I don't know.
There was the old days, son.
Yeah. I was doing Comic Cons while you were still in high school. Quiet your mouth.
I was doing comics before you were born.
Yeah. You quiet your mouth. No, I do believe.
No, I was talking to you.
Oh no, I know. I do believe though that it's going to be really rough. And are you guys worried about that, Jonathan? Are you your first con back? Are you going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in seeing how they do it with the whole social distancing and things like that. Like Randall was saying, the con that he's going to is the booths are separated. To me, that sounds like an ideal situation. I've been with several cons with Rob where we've had to hold down our stuff while some asshole cosplayer with oversized, bubble suit is just walking around knocking people's stuff over. So maybe booth 6 feet apart is probably a good thing, and definitely some sanitizer stations more often because some of those people probably are the closest thing that they've had to a shower, it seems like. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Randall's got a convention next week or this weekend. Is it this weekend?
Right, it's this weekend. It's the Augusta Toy and Comic Convention, and stop sharing my screen. Let me get that back up and.
Grand Rapids Comic Con says Lola does all the work of variant watches, which it is true. It is true. I just and he says I'm worried if I'm the first con back for a lot of people. For us, you will be. You'll be the first con back, and but you won't have to worry about last call setting up. It's a little bit different. So it's different because this setup is a lot different, a lot more technical than I'm thinking. That's probably
we'll be set up there as Indie Volt at Grand Rapids. I don't know if we should have announced that yet, but we are.
Yeah,
we'll be set up there as Indie Volt, and in fact, we'll be doing a special show.
Yeah,
during that period.
I tend they're distancing the tables 6 feet apart, and it's going to be an experiment for me because most of the time I've been to conventions, I've made better sales when it is very tight and you do have the asshole cosplayers and other people doing bad things. But you also get people who are kind of forced to look at your table Whereas, people tend to only interact with what's familiar. So if you don't make your table like super familiar, you're not going to get a lot of interaction unless they're like forced to walk right in front of you. So I'm a little concerned that sales will probably be not very great, but I don't really care because it's a convention and I'm going and it's going to be awesome.
There you go.
That is I see that Breakfast of Sergeant Slaughter, the Augusta Toy and Comic Convention. I'm glad to see that some things are getting back to normal.
Yeah.
So we can have some cons again.
The guy who runs it works for the post office, and you know that saying about postmen, neither rain nor sleet nor hail, all that. That's his mentality, and he has been over backwards. Like the convention space has doubled from what he originally planned to do. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Being that, oops, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Being that first convention back for a lot of people, it's going to be really weird. I know that I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to having Lola do all the work and me taking all the credit and just being pretty. It's being pretty. Plus, I have to have my hat brushed, and it needs to be brushed. I can't go to cons without the hat anymore. It's true. Randy,
sir,
we should ask these fine men where they can be found on social media as well as the stores, so that the people listening right now can get in touch with them and buy their wares, and force them to send them comics over the out the country, which we did have that happened to someone. They reached out to me and said, "There's a guy that won't leave me alone while I'm a comic." We'll start with Randall. Randall, where can they find you online? Where can they talk to you at?
I'm usually on Facebook. I'm kind of trapped there at this point. So come find me on Facebook. It's Randy L. Bishop on Facebook. My Art of Randall Bishop is the Facebook page. The Hawk of New York is also a Facebook page I maintain. That's more for like the people who are actually reading the book. But Art of Randall Bishop is everything under the sun I'm doing to try to put food on the table for my family. I'm also on Patreon, as we already talked about. Patreon, R Bishop, a 1.5 minute video where I can kind of talk about like what I'm trying to accomplish with my comics.
Cool. And then I think that having a Patreon, I know there's a couple of other different sources like Patreon. It's got Coffee, and there's a couple other ones, but those platforms like that can really help artists out. So definitely pop over there. I know that I believe they will do a I forget the term now. Man, maybe it's too late for me. When they'll transfer your money over. So basically, if you're using a different form of currency, they will convert it over. If you want to still back him on Patreon and help him out. See, Michael Lanning says, "I'm curious. If the tables are 6 feet apart, would that mean less spots, right? Wouldn't that include higher prices for booths?" I think in some cases it might. They're going to have less tables, so they might charge a little more. The ticket prices might end up going up a bit. Because
somehow, in this particular case, like the number of spaces are exactly the same from what he had started with, because he bumped it up from one location to another. And as far as prices on tables go, I don't know, because I'm fortunate enough to be an invited guest. I don't have to pay for my table. So in this case, it's not always the case for me.
You smashing me like sardines. See, that's my mentality of it. I was running the convention, smashing me like sardines. See, I told them I was getting 8-foot tables. It's really 4, and they'll never notice. They're artists. They can't add anyway. If they could add, they wouldn't be in this business. Jonathan, let's talk about where they can find you at, sir.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Jonathan Hedrick. Hedrick spelled Hedrick. Don't throw an N, don't throw an X, don't throw an S in there. Hedrick. Story of my life.
And you can check out.
Go ahead.
Freak Show Night, Freak Show Princess. Those are phenomenal books. I go back and now. It's got it on Kickstarter. I think that. I just think that we need to get some posters of that for my new background I'm making. So, yeah, some
I'll look into
Randy, Sir, anything you want to say before we get out of here? We're not leaving right now, but I know that when we start drawing near to the close of the show, anything you want to announce?
And I get long-winded. Is that what you said? No. We're going to be back on Thursday morning for the breakfast buzz at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
And then again I do a Sunday Funnies program where we concentrate on the more lighthearted and whimsical style of comics that some you know and some you may not know and some maybe older than your parents. So make sure you tune in on that. That's Sunday Funnies on Sunday at 9 a.m. here on the Indie Volt Radio Network. Is there anything else that you wanted me to announce?
No, but we're going to pop over to Lola, and Lola's got to talk about what she's got coming.
There we go.
What do I have coming?
Don't you have a show tomorrow?
I know, yeah. Don't remind me. Yeah, my show Geekgasm is tomorrow at 9 p.m. And I have a lot of
lined
guests.
up. Is
Yeah, we'll see if they all show up.
and that's comics from a more hopefully feminine side and perspective, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I do have some female
we
guests
go.
tomorrow,
Awesome.
so I'm very excited about that.
And Rob's got a show too, I think.
Still hasn't been canceled. You poor fool! It's not a community. It's a cutthroat industry. We'll be this Saturday at 9 p.m. People.
I do think that he's we're at to cancel Rob at some point. I'll call Rob. You're canceled. They can't cancel me. No, you don't understand.
That's one thing I haven't been in comics yet. It's all part of the business.
No, I'm gonna call him. I'll call him and say, Rob, you're canceled. They can't cancel me. No, Rob, you don't understand. Your show's canceled. oh. Oh my God.
Tori Hill says Geekgasm.
We're putting you in a new show.
Everybody loves Geekgasm.
We're
Yes.
putting you in a new show, Rob. It's called Fluffy Comics, where you're gonna be nice and wear a fluffy bunny suit. And he's like, no, I don't like
You
that.
think I won't do it, but I will.
I believe he would do it.
That much that I would do it. I'd be a bunny. I'd be like, call me Mr. Rogers. I'd shave the beard, look like I'm 12.
In the
Of
meantime, we're all trying to coordinate the Beefaroo Con.
Yeah.
We all meet at Beefaroo. That hasn't been finalized yet. We're hoping to have a further announcement on that soon.
Sometime soon. If you guys want to send your questions in for us to answer and berate, you can do so at
Come on, we won't berate them too much.
No.
Unless they deserve it.
IndieVote Live at indievote.com is the email address you are looking for. Include IndieVote Live in the subject, and please keep those emails to 90 words or less. And don't worry, listen, I got an email today from someone to say, I sent the question and you guys didn't cover it. I try to do the questions so that there's enough time to have the show and give everyone a chance to pitch their book. So I will make my way down to your question. It might not be this episode. We might do it on IndieVote Live, IndieVote Breakfast Buzz. Sometimes we even give questions to Geekgasm.
Especially if they're particularly rough and,
Yeah. So
depending upon the show.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. We will get around to your question, though.
Lovelorn questions are always welcome as well. Those are...
Yeah. IndieVote Radio, guys, listen in. Download it on Google Play. Download it on if you have Streamer on iOS phone, you can download your Streamer app and find IndieVote Radio there, as well as on Alexa. So you can ask her to play IndieVote Radio for you.
Only if you ask her nicely.
Very nicely. Yeah, Lola just added more music to it. So we get just talk, industry talk. Here's music from indie artists. It's really it's a good station. And if you're not a radio person, say you're a TV, you're a TV head, well, IndieVote TV is there for you too on Roku and Roku enabled televisions. You can and Roku enabled devices. You can watch IndieVote TV. You got a lot of independent movies up there. Some exclusive IndieVote Live of content that we could put on YouTube just because that's how you get in trouble. Is that one time when Lola had a nip slip? That's probably on Roku. Download that. Yeah, it was almost. That didn't happen. But, It was almost live. We caught it.
And hey, everybody, we are here to help educate you as much as possible. We welcome your input. And again, like Varian said, write us a question or comment, suggestion, IndieVolt Live at indievolt.com. Please include IndieVolt Live in that subject matter. Please be patient because, like Varian said, he's been getting a lot of questions, and we're trying to stretch these out over our many hours of programming. And do keep in mind that no question that you ask is going to be too serious or too silly. So send those in to us. And remember that our feedback will be better because of your setback. Hashtag get an education. Hashtag IndieVolt. So send those. Don't be afraid to send those emails in.
Meredith says Rob loves hate mail, doesn't he? He does love hate mail.
He does.
That hate mail, Rob approved. And Jennifer Cool says, would that be the BarCon?
I'm sorry, that would not be the BarCon. That would actually be the BeefarooCon, and we haven't quite cleared that yet. So it's still in the talking.
And you know why we haven't cleared it yet, Randy?
Huh?
It's over your shoulder.
So, well, yeah, because, COVID.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you, BeefarooCon is going to be like a rap battle. So every creator who hates each other will be across from each other, staring at each other.
COVID. That's what I keep hearing from my local auto shop.
Yeah. It's become our mantra around here.
I'm thinking of making shirts. The only problem is the wife reminds me I'll probably spend an entire month packing them and shipping them out once I offer. So.
Well, I'll come over and help. I'll come over and help pack them
up. You promise?
Yeah. I'll go over. I need one so I can just, we can wear it on the show, and every time something goes bad,
yeah, just sit there because COVID.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for listening. Final number tonight, IndieVolt Radio. You guys are awesome. We got up very high, 89,147.
New record. Write that down.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank Australia, Mexico, Germany, and our good friends in the UK, as well as we are actually still in China right now, which is amazing because normally they twirl us. Thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. We'll be back here.
We love all of our radio listeners. Thank you so much. And remember, if we can pump that number up a little higher, once we pass that 100 mark, Varian has to pay for more bandwidth.
Yeah. Meredith says, "Wait, Randy's allowed to have signs." Yeah, Randy had to pass that sign. Yeah.
I got prior approval though before I did it.
Yeah, prior approval.
No last minute surprise.
Yeah, someone likes to have a Sharpie. He's not even allowed to have Sharpies at his desk anymore.
And look at how official that looks.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow night at 9:00. Lola will, and then me and Randy will be back Thursday morning.
Bright and early.
Breakfast Buzz.
9 a.m.
Sup-ass boys return.
Sup-ass boys.
See you guys soon. Until then, stay safe. Take care of each other. And don't be a crab.
Do you want me to take us out?
Sure.
I can take us out. Hang on just for a second. Oh, wait a minute. Here's Gail.
Yay! Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.